Okay, just checking our angles here. It doesn't give me a preview before I click go live, so I'm just checking my angles here, making sure you all can see enough of me. And good morning, thank you for being here. Okay, I think that should be good. So today we're doing week 2 of our abs and core series. I'm gonna start my Facebook in a minute. So yeah, we're just doing a little ab work, and that's the goal. And I was talking last week about starting our workout habits now. You know, it was getting cooler for a minute, at least here in Missouri, about starting our routines and staying on our routines so that we don't have to try to play catch up later. Yeah, that just makes it better. Getting in the habit is a good thing. So we will start shortly. So make sure you grab your water. Make sure you have your yoga mat. If you need anything, if you need to modify in any kind of way, like if you need any yoga blocks or anything like that, go ahead and grab those. If you want to put music on in the background, you can get that set up, and then we'll get started in the next couple minutes. Okay, I'm gonna get my Facebook started. All right. I'm letting some people come into the Facebook. And then within the next couple minutes, we'll begin. Good morning, Facebook. Thank you for being here. And just a reminder, if you need the Cash App or Venmo info, if you're looking to donate, the info on Cash App and Venmo, my name on both of those is DJ Nico Marie. If you're looking to donate, not a requirement, but it's always appreciated. And then let's just get ready to get in a comfortable position on our mat and get ready to start in the next minute. And for the people on Facebook, we're continuing our abs and core series. So we're going to do some ab work today and some core strengthening. Keep our core tight and in check so we're not trying to catch up in January and whatever month it is that people, all decide to go back to the gym. It is January, New Year's resolution thing. But we'll just stay consistent. You stay consistent now, you don't have to catch up later. So let's begin in a seated position. If you're comfortable here in easy pose with your legs crossed, feel free to be there. If you're comfortable with your legs extended out, that's fine too. Just making sure you're in a position where you can relax. Palms are facing upward. Let's come back to our prana mudra like we've been using the past couple weeks. So I want you to take your ring finger and your pinky finger and touch them to your thumb. Keep these other two fingers extended out. Shoulders are relaxed. Chin is parallel to the floor. And we'll begin with some breaths. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Second inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. One more big, deep inhale through your nose. Exhale out the mouth. And just let go of any control over the breath, coming back to your natural breathing. And you can close your eyes if you haven't already, and if you're in a safe place to do so. Just taking some moments here, connecting with our breath. Getting our minds and our bodies ready for a good practice today. If you would like, you can set an affirmation or an intention for your practice today. And affirmations begin with I am, I will, or I choose. And just breathe in that positive affirmation. Breathe out any worry, fear, any doubt. And if you would like to keep your hands here while we start our warm-up, you can. We'll just start rotating our head to the right side. Inhale back, exhale forward. Making sure our back is tall and that our shoulders are relaxed. Move a couple more times to the right. And let's begin rotating our head to the left. Still inhaling back and exhaling forward. Bring your head back to neutral. Let's roll into the shoulders. If you want to keep your hands here, feel free. Inhale back, inhale up, exhale back and down. And this mudra, this thing you're doing with your hands is supposed to activate energy and vitality in your body. So maybe this is a good mudra to do during your morning meditation, whenever you need an energy boost. Let's do the same thing, roll the shoulders forward. Bring the shoulders back to neutral. Inhale the arms up, interlace the fingers, pressing the palms towards the ceiling, sitting nice and tall. Exhale, release the hands. Let's switch to our left side. Left hand on the outside of right knee. Right fingertips face the back wall. Bring your gaze over your right shoulder. Inhale, come back to center. Interlace the fingers. Push the palms away again. Exhale, twist to the left. Right hand on the outside of left knee. Left fingertips face the back wall. Gaze comes over your left shoulder. Inhale, come back up to center. Interlace your fingers. Push your palms away. Exhale, right hand comes down to the ground. Left arm comes up and over. Feel free to lower that right forearm down if that feels comfortable. And if you want, you can bring your gaze up towards the ceiling. Inhale, come to the center. Exhale, roll that left hand down. Right arm up and over. Left arm rests on the ground. Gaze up towards the ceiling. Inhale, come back up to center. Interlace those fingers. Push the palms away again. Exhale, let's release the hands behind us. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Roll your shoulders back, open the chest. Gaze up towards the sky. Taking some good breaths, opening up the heart chakra. Inhale. Exhale, release those hands. Take the right hand, plant it down on the ground beside you. Left ear falls over to your left shoulder. We'll take the left hand very gently, rest it on the side of the head, using the hand as a weight. Take an inhale. Exhale, lower that left hand down, drop the right ear to the right shoulder. Right hand gently rest on the side of the head. Inhale. Exhale, release that right hand. Let's extend those legs out in front. Just come to a seated forward bend. Sweep those arms up with an inhale. Exhale, lead with the chest, lowering down, just reaching for your feet. You don't have to be able to reach your feet. Just getting a stretch in the back of the legs here. And roll back up to a seated position. Let's stretch our wrists out. Press finger and thumb comes together. Stick those fingers together. Start to rotate the wrists towards our body. And for anybody who's new to watching lives with me, I live in a very noisy neighborhood. A lot of people talking. Sometimes they're outside yelling. A lot of motorcycle noises. So, it just kind of is what it is. You just work with what you have, right? And let's rotate the wrists away from us. So that's just, if you hear a lot of noise going on outside, it's like that every day. Good. Let's release those hands. Bring the hands to heart center. Inhale. Exhale, let the hands press into each other as they lower down towards the hips. And let's release those wrists. Let's come up on hands and knees and work into some cat-cow. Our hands are underneath our shoulders and our knees are underneath our hips. If you need some support under the knees, if you have a blanket or a towel you want to fold and put under there, you can also fold your mat in half. Just fold it like this to bring some cushion under your knees. Let's rotate the eyes of the elbows towards the front of the room. Take an inhale, lift the chin up. Flip the tailbone upward, arching the spine. Exhale, tuck the tailbone under, round the spine. Just moving in and out of cat-cow at your own pace. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. And just keep moving with your cat-cow. Right now is a good time to remind you that during this practice, be sure to work within your range. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself, but do what's comfortable for your own body. If you know you need to modify, feel free to modify. If you know you need to take a break, feel free to take a break. Couple more rounds of cat-cow. And bring your spine back to neutral. And we'll get ready to come up to down dog. If you're not comfortable with down dog, what you can do is stay down on your knees and extend your arms out and come down to puppy pose instead, a down dog modification. If you're okay with down dog, we'll tuck those toes under, start to lift those hips up and back. Melting our heart down towards our thighs, pressing our heels towards the ground, but don't be discouraged if your heels don't come flat on the ground. It's okay. Taking a few rounds of breath here. And let's pedal these feet out one at a time. Feel free to also shift your weight from one foot to the other. Good. From here, let's float our body back forward and come back down to our table pose and take child's pose for a little bit. Bring those big toes together, shift your weight back towards your heels. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, start to melt down towards your legs. And right now is a good time to remember, if you ever need a break, just come down to your child's pose. And on your next inhale, let's float our body back up to table position. Coming back to your down dog or your puppy pose. Maybe pedaling those feet out again. And let's shift our weight forward, coming to a plank. And we'll come to up dog or cobra. If you want to come to up dog, go ahead and let those hips start to sink down, but stay engaged in your shoulders. And you can kind of shift your weight from one hip to the other. If this is a bit much on your back, go ahead, come down to your belly. Hands are underneath the shoulders, and just feel your chest off the ground only, coming to cobra instead of full up dog. And we're just stretching our belly out here. And then when you're ready, come back to your puppy pose or your down dog. Gaze comes up between the hands and we'll start to walk the feet up behind the hands. Let's inhale up to a half lift to lengthen with the hands on the shins. Neck in line with the spine, nice flat tabletop back. Exhale, melt down to a forward fold. You can grab your elbows here even. And feel free to add some movement, rocking side to side here. Release the elbows, we'll roll up to a standing position. Bring those arms with you, inhale. Exhale, those hands to heart center. Good. Let's move to one sun salutation. Hands start at heart center. Actually, let's release those hands and come down to mountain pose. Palms facing outward, shoulders relaxed. Rocking back and forth from the balls of our feet to our heels. And keeping our knees soft. Meaning not locking out your knees. Just a teeny tiny micro bend in your knees. Sweep those arms up with an inhale. Hands meet up above you, very small back bend. Exhale, let's dive down to a forward fold. Fingertips can come down to the ground, but you can grab those elbows. Inhale up to a half lift, fingertips can stay on the ground or hands can come to shins. Exhale, plant the hands down in front of the feet, step or jump back to plank. If you need to modify, go ahead and drop down to those knees for modified plank. And we'll lower down for chaturanga, either to the belly or down halfway. Inhale up for cobra or up dog. Exhale, make your way back to down dog. If you need to shift back on those knees first, that's totally fine. Remember, you have the option to take puppy pose here, and let's take some breaths. And just because you did a full down dog one time doesn't mean you can't do puppy pose the next. It just depends on how you're feeling. Bring your gaze up in between the hands. Let's step or jump those feet up behind the hands. Inhale up to half lift again. Exhale, lower down, forward fold. Roll up to standing, arms come with you. Inhale. Small back bend. Exhale, the hands to heart center. Good. Now let's make our way back to a down dog. Maybe moving through our sun salutation a little bit. Inhale. Exhale, come down to forward fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, plant the hands down in front of the feet. Step or jump back to plank. And we're going to move through our vinyasa a few times. Now, if you need to modify, go ahead and come down on the knees, and then you'll lower down and just come up for cobra instead if you need to. And if you're at full plank, you can lower down halfway. Shifting our weight forward a little bit, lowering down. Inhale up. Exhale, back to down dog or puppy pose. Maybe shifting our weight back and then coming up. Let's take our vinyasa a couple more times. Shift your weight forward. Chaturanga. Cobra up dog. Moving back to down dog. Let's do that again. Come forward. Chaturanga, cobra or up dog, down dog. And if you need a rest, feel free. From here, let's take our left foot, walking in a half step, extend that right leg up and back. Exhale, bring the knee tight into the chest. Step the foot up in between the hands. From here, we're going to try to stay up on our back toe as we inhale up to a high lunge. Now, if you need a little more support and stability, feel free to rotate that back heel down flat. Inhale your high lunge. Exhale, go ahead and rotate that back heel down flat and straighten that front leg. I'm going to drop these arms out wide and come to triangle pose. So let's reach forward with this right hand and then lower down to your leg, or if you need support, you can lower down to a block or a book. Left arm extends up towards the sky, gaze up towards the left hand if you can, but if you need a little more balance, you can look down towards the right foot. The second inhale, extend those arms up. We're going to rest this left hand down on the back leg. Bring this right arm up and back for a reverse triangle. Inhale. Exhale, we're going to shift our weight forward, coming to half moon. So for half moon, I'm going to show you a modification. If you're not quite at the point where you're ready to bring your hand all the way down, you can just reach for the ground with your hand. Maybe your left arm extends up, depending on how you're feeling. But you can keep this left hand on the hip and just reach down. You can also use a block or a book if you have one. But if you're comfortable doing so, we shift our weight into this right foot. Right hand comes down to the ground in front of the foot. Left hand can stay on the hip. Or if you want, let that left arm extend up towards the sky. Back foot is flexed. And if you want to lift through that back foot, feel free. Inhale. Exhale, lower that left hand down. Let's come to a lunge position. Now from here, we can move through a vinyasa, or if you want to skip it and just take a little break here, you can. Step that right foot back. If you're moving through your vinyasa, we'll chaturanga, cobra inhale, exhale, down dog, or puppy pose. And vinyasa is always optional. If you need to skip vinyasa, feel free. If you need to skip. Let's walk that right foot in a half step. Let's start to extend that left leg up and back. Working through that same sequence. Now, if you need to do this from your knees instead, that's totally fine. Let's bring our knee into our chest. Step that left foot up. Sweep the arms up for high lunge on this side. Take an inhale. Exhale, rotate that back heel down flat. Let's straighten this front knee. Arms will come out wide, and we'll reach for it with this left hand, lowering that hand down to the leg, to the ground, to a block if you need one. Bringing your gaze wherever is comfortable. Up towards the hand for a challenge, down towards that foot for a balance. Try to push through that back hip. Let's bring those arms out wide. Inhale. Scooping up and back for a reverse triangle. Exhale. Inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale, let's shift our weight forward, coming to half moon. Remember your modification if you need to. Reaching down, bringing your hand to a block, or all the way down to the ground. Hand can stay on the hip, arm can extend up, back foot is flexed. Inhale. Exhale, let's lower down to a lunge position. If you want to skip your vinyasa, you can, but if you want to vinyasa with me, let's chaturanga, cobra or up dog, puppy pose or down dog. Take some breaths. And if you need to take child's pose as a break, go ahead and do that. Out from our down dog, let's bring our gaze up in between the hands. Start to walk those feet up behind the hands. Now from here, we'll move into chair pose. So let's bend our knees, bringing our thighs as parallel to the ground as possible, and sweep those arms up, sitting in our imaginary chair, shifting our weight into our heels. And let's take the hands, bring them down to heart center. We're going to hook this left elbow on the outside of the right knee. And if you can, really twist through this rotation, maybe looking up towards the sky. And if you're feeling extra spicy and you want to add a little more, you can bring those arms out wide. Inhale. Exhale, hands come back together. Hands back at heart center. Let's straighten those legs out as we extend those arms up towards the sky. Let's take the feet Bring them right underneath the hips. We're going to pull our belly button back towards our spine as we lower down and extend our arms out in front. So it'll just look like this. And if you need some support, take those hands, bring them down to the shins and come to a half lift. Should feel this in the back of the legs. We're also working our core here. Take an inhale. Exhale, plant those hands down in front of the feet. Step and jump back to a plank position. And if you want to take a break, you can. And if you want to move through your vinyasa, you can. Take some breaths. Let's take these feet, step them up behind the hands again. Then into those knees. Sweep those arms up with inhale. Exhale, bring those hands down to heart center. Let's twist to the left this time. Right hand hooks on the outside of left knee. Right elbow. And if you want, go ahead and bring those arms out wide. Inhale. Exhale, hands back to heart center. Coming back to center. Extend those arms up. Inhale. Go ahead and pull that belly button back towards the spine. Making sure those feet are underneath the hips. Let's lower down. Extend those arms out in front. Really reach through those arms. If you need support, drop those hands down. Good. Inhale. Exhale, put the hands down in front of the feet. Step or jump back to plank. And if you want to move through your vinyasa, you can. Take some breaths. If you need to take a child's pose, now is a good time. If you need a sip of water, go ahead and grab that. And when you're ready, let's bring our gaze up in between our hands as we walk those feet up again. We're going to move through that same sequence just a little bit faster. Bend those knees, sweep those arms up. Inhale. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Twist to the right. Inhale. Bring those arms out wide if you like. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, straighten those legs out. Pull that belly button back towards the spine. Exhale, lower down. Inhale. Exhale, put those hands down in front of the feet. Step or jump back to plank. If you want to move through your vinyasa, you can. Take some breaths, and we'll do that again on the other side. Gaze up in between the hands. Step or jump the feet up. Bend into those knees. Sweep up for chair pose. Inhale. Exhale, the hands to heart center. Twist to your left. Inhale, bring those arms out wide maybe. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, sweep those arms up. Pull that belly button back towards the spine. Exhale, lower down. Inhale. Exhale, put the hands down in front of the feet. Step or jump back to plank. Move through your vinyasa if you like. Take an inhale. Exhale, let's drop down to the knees and come to a child's pose for a couple breaths. Take a couple more breaths in your child's pose. Let's shift our weight back forward. Come into a seated position. We'll bring these feet out in front. And we'll move into a couple more ab exercises. So let's start with a boat pose. Hands can be behind you with your fingertips facing forward, feet coming off the ground. And if you're feeling okay here, you can let those arms extend out in front. Whichever one you choose is fine. Just bring those legs up. And just hold it here. And a couple more breaths. Good, relax. Drop those feet down. Take the hands, wrap around the knees. We're gonna roll down to our back. And do a couple of crow crunches. So I want you to touch your elbows to your knees. So what we will do is make sure that lower back is flat. Elbows are touching knees. And we're just strengthening our core here. And all I want you to do is extend out. Inhale, and then come back. Touching those elbows to the knees again. Extend out, and come back in. And if those tummy muscles are trembling, that's okay. Extend out, come back in. Good, a few more times. Extend out, come back in. Extend out, come back in. And if you need a break, you can take a break. A couple more times. Out, and back in. Let's do one more time. Out, and back in. Good. Go ahead and release those legs out, and let's roll onto our belly. Just relaxing down to start. Now from here, what I want to do is move into bow pose. So we're going to bend at our left knee, reach behind our left hand, grab our left ankle, and we're up on the right forearm. This is a modified version. If you're okay with doing the full version, we're going to bend both knees, grab both ankles. And the idea is to push these ankles away. So if you want to modify, you can just do one first. But if you're okay with the full version, you can go ahead and do both. So get in whatever position. And then when you're ready, you're just pulling the ankles away from the body. Get some nice deep breaths here. Massaging those organs. Take an inhale, exhale, release. Now for this next one, if you did the left side first, go ahead and do the right side. Taking a break first, of course. Okay, and when you're ready, let's get our body in position. Grabbing one ankle or both. And then just push those ankles away. Getting those breaths in. Inhale. Exhale, relax. Woo. And let's make our way back to child's pose. If you want to switch your body back around, you can. Bring those big toes together. Shift your hips back towards your heels, arms extend out in front. Now from here in your child's pose, bring your gaze up in between your hands. We're going to kind of snake our body forward, moving into our up dog or our cobra. Again, just to stretch these front muscles. And remember, you can be down in cobra with the chest down on the ground if you need to. Let's come back, snaking back to child's pose. Now let's do our cobra a second time, doing that same thing again. Snaking forward, coming up to up dog or cobra. Feel free to shift your weight from one hip to the other, get into those obliques. Come back to your child's pose. Let's take our hands and walk them towards the right side of our mat. Giving a side stretch here. Left hand might even come on top of right hand as you melt back down into your child's pose. Take a couple more breaths. Inhale. Exhale, let's walk our hands over to the left. Right hand might come on top of left. Melt back down into your child's pose. Take an inhale. Exhale, come back to center. We're going to move into a shoulder stretch. If this is starting to get too intense on your hips, you can go ahead and come up to more of a puppy pose instead of a child's pose. We'll take an inhale, extend that right arm out towards the side. Exhale, flip that palm upward, bring it behind the left. Right ear, right shoulder come down to the ground. You can keep your left hand planted, or you can bend it behind your back. Take a couple more breaths on this side. Inhale. Exhale, lower that left hand down. Push back up to table. Take an inhale, extend that left arm out. Exhale, flip the palm upward, bring it behind the right. Left ear, left shoulder come down towards the ground. Arm can bend behind your back, or it can stay pointed down. Take an inhale. Exhale, bring that right hand back down to the ground, pushing back up to a table position. Let's bring those legs out in front, coming back to a seated forward bend, sweeping those arms up. Inhale. Exhale, lead with the chest, coming down over those legs. And let's take an inhale, lengthen the spine again. Exhale, melt back down. Couple more breaths in your seated forward bend. Let's roll up to a seated position again. Take the hands, bring them maybe an inch behind you, and I'll give you a couple options. Option one, you're just in staff pose, pressing into those hands, rolling the shoulders back, opening the chest. And if you want a little more, we're gonna go ahead and lift the hips off the ground, making a ramp from the shoulders down towards our heels. Whichever one works for you. One more inhale. Exhale, come back to your original position. And we'll sweep those arms up again. Coming to our seated forward bend one more time, just to kind of counteract that back bending. And let's release and roll up. All right, from here, let's take our right leg, bring it over our left. If possible, try to get those knees to stack on top of each other if you can. But if not, just bringing your right leg over your left one is fine. And you can stay just like this, or if you have enough flexibility in the knee and this doesn't hurt your knee or hurt your hip, you can bend that bottom knee as well. And these knees are stacked one on top of the other. Now, if this is not comfortable for you, just stay in that original position. We'll take an inhale. Exhale, we're gonna bring our arms out wide on either side, touching the ground, and just lower our chest down towards this top knee. Should feel a good hip stretch here. Couple more cycles of breath on this side. Let's roll up to a seated position and switch the orientation of our legs. Extending those legs back out. Now crossing our left on top of our right. Trying to stack those knees if you can. Staying here if you're comfortable here, or bending that bottom leg. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhale, melt down towards that top knee. Couple more breaths on this side. And let's make our way back up to a seated position. Take those legs, bring them out in front with the knees bent as we roll down to our back. And go ahead and bring those knees into the chest. Just hugging the knees in, rocking side to side. And if you want, you can feel free to move those knees in a circle. Just release those knees, bring the feet flat on the ground. Take the hands, rest them down at your sides. Make sure that lower back is meeting the ground. You might have to tilt your pelvis towards you. And walk those heels in until they touch the fingertips. And then we'll move into bridge pose. Just starting to lift the hips off of the ground. Staying just like this. If you want to interlace the fingers underneath you and roll those shoulders under, feel free. Pushing those knees together like there's an imaginary block there you're trying to hold in between your knees. Take an inhale. Exhale, roll back down, one vertebra at a time. Back to a flat back. And just take a couple breaths here. And we'll move into our bridge pose a second time. And let's get ready to move into our bridge pose again. Lift those hips off the ground. And if you want to interlace those fingers and roll those shoulders under, you can. Inhale. Exhale, come back down to a flat back. Hug the knees into the chest. Rock side to side. And we'll release our knees, bringing our feet flat on the ground again as we move into a figure four pose. Let's take our right ankle, crossing it on top of the left knee with the foot flexed, letting that ankle bone clear the knee. You might be just fine here. If you're able to, go ahead and take that hand, bring it behind that left thigh, and pull it in towards your chest. Just letting your hips release and relax down into this pose. Couple more breaths. Let's release the thigh, but keep that ankle crossed. From here, I want you to take those arms, bring them out wide, and just let that right leg come on top of the left as you lower the knees over towards the left side. And if you can, bring that gaze over to the right. A nice spinal twist here. Couple more breaths. Inhale. Exhale back to center. Let's do that on the other side. Coming back to our original position. This time, cross the left ankle on top of the right knee. Foot is flexed. If you're fine staying here, feel free. Or hands can come behind that thigh. Pull it in towards your chest. Couple more breaths. Inhale. Exhale, release the thigh. Arms come out wide. Go ahead and take those knees, let them fall over to the right. Bring your gaze over to the left if you can. Couple more breaths on this side. Inhale. Exhale, you can hug your knees into the chest one more time. And if you need to do anything else before your Shavasana, feel free. If you want to lay down for your Shavasana, feel free to come to corpse pose or whatever comfortable position is there for you. Or if you want to come to a seated position, you can do that as well. Just making sure you're comfortable. And when you're ready, let's begin to come back to those breaths we used at the beginning of class. Inhale through your nose. And hold it. Exhale out. Inhale through your nose. Hold it. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. And now on your next inhale, I want you to tense up your body as much as you can. Tense up your fists, tense up your face, tense up your whole body. Inhale. Exhale, relax your body. One more time, tense up your body as tight as you can. Tense up your facial expression. Make those fists as tight as you can. Inhale. Exhale, release. And come back to your natural breath. And just focus in on your breath. Focus in on the movement of your breath. Feel the path your breath takes as it moves throughout your body. Acknowledge and appreciate the breath. Some people didn't wake up today. Some people didn't breathe today. But you did. I just wanted to take a moment to talk to you about ego. About how our ego shapes our perceptions of how things happen and changes our stress and anxiety levels. Because a lot of times we believe that things aren't supposed to be happening, that because things are inconvenient for us, that they're not supposed to happen. But the reality is that things are going to happen. Whether they are convenient for us or not is not the point. All we can do is take each moment one at a time. All we can do is take things as they come. We like to think that our lives aren't supposed to look a certain way. We like to think that sometimes bad things aren't ever supposed to happen to us, but they do because we can't control them. And the best way to deal with things you cannot control is to let go of thinking that you can do anything about it. Sometimes you just can't do anything about it. And although we are natural beings and we worry and we have anxieties because this is how we are and how our body works, we can try to let go of having control. We can try to let go of thinking that things are supposed to happen in the exact way that we want them to. And we have to remember that the world is just what it is. Good or bad, the world is what it is. And holding on to the egotistical views that the world should move in the way that we want it to move only causes us pain and suffering. Let's take a moment to sit with those emotions. Sit with any thoughts that may have brought up for you. Do some reflecting and maybe think about today. Is there something I can let go? Is there something I don't have control over that I can just let go? Just to lighten my load a little bit. And on your next inhale, just begin to wiggle your fingers and toes as you come back into your body and back into the room. And when you're ready, if you're laying down, feel free to roll over onto your favorite side, using your arm as a pillow. Just taking a moment to reflect on all that has happened within this past hour. Maybe reflecting on the affirmations you said at the beginning of class. Reflecting on the path of your practice. Reflecting on the words of your meditation. And also just take a moment for some self-gratitude. Thank yourself for practicing some self-care, some self-love, some self-nurturing today. And if you're not already there, you can come up to a comfortable seated position. Palms facing upward for receiving or downward for grounding, depending on what you need. And together, my friends, we'll inhale the hands up above us in prayer. Exhale, float them down to heart center. I want to thank you all for sharing your time, your energy, your space, for trusting me to be your guide. I hope that you are well, and I hope that you continue to be better. Namaste. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today. We'll continue our series next week. I'll upload this to YouTube, so if you really liked it, you can do it again on your own. And if you want to donate, the information is there. And I appreciate you being here with me. Peace and love.